Hello everyone and welcome back today for round 5 here in the GT Sport League at Gavra Racing, and today we are at Monza for the 5th round in the championship, and I'm excited to be here once again for the 5th time 5th time in 5 weeks, and hopefully it's going to be an absolutely great race for us here today. We saw last season at Monza was an absolute thrilling race. If you haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend you go watch it. But today I'm unfortunately not joined by Cryptech, as he has abandoned me already. I know we're already at 5 rounds and he's already left me. It's absolutely shocking. But yeah, we're here in qualifying for Monza, this league being sponsored by the Black Country Metal Recovery. I do apologise. It's great to have them sponsoring us for the league, but we've got the 15-minute quali. You join us for 12 minutes with 30 seconds left to go. That's a little bit late starting, but currently in quali it's got a bit of a slipstream train here with Epic, Woody and Ted. Slipstream's going to be very important, especially around this track. 11 corners, 7 to the right and 4 to the left, 3.6 miles here in the north of Milan, I think Monza is, and Ted picking up a 1.5 second penalty by cutting the chicane. I think someone else got a penalty. I think it was Finn in the Ferrari picking up a 1.5 second penalty. You got the two BCMR drivers of Toussaint and Tiger picking up slipstream off one another, and Math Gamer, which looks like a new Red Bull livery, so a very nice design from him. A new driver joining us today in the Audi R8, Daniel Gardenzi from the F1 Academy, so it's great to have him joining us here in round 5 for Monza. Should be a great race. And back up top with Epic and Woody, two actually going to go side by side into Parabolica. I think it's Parabolica, yeah, the final corner. To turn 11 they go now, so it will be Woody to set the first time in the Toyota Supra on the racing soft tyres. Let's just see what type of a lap time he can put in his first run. Obviously the lap times will get quicker throughout the session with the lower fuel. Woody sets the first time of 1:48.7. Epic goes 2 seconds slower with a 1:50.4 and Ted with a 1:51.3. I'm sure there's plenty of time left to find as Scouting moves his way up into 3rd place, but Tiger and Toussaint put themselves on provisional pole and in 2nd place. 1 minute 46.7 for Tiger, a 1:47.5 for Toussaint. Finn goes at 1:57.4, Fergie at 1:59.1, and Play Duchy goes into 2nd place, splitting the two Aston Martins at 1:47.3. Math Gamer in the Lexus goes up into 6th place with 1:50.6, and Daniel Gardenzi, our new driver today, puts himself in 9th place. Provisionally in 9th place in the Audi, which is actually, he's done well to find a similar livery to his teammate Wolfie, so a good job for him. Wolfie's currently sat in 12th place going through turn 1. He set a 1 minute 54.7, but I think that was invalid. That's why it's not coming up on the screen. So our Tiger then setting the benchmark now. Dutchy though going 3.5 tenths up on his lap. Epping Woody still slipstream each other. We've got Scouting Ninja off in the first Lesmo. We'll get a quick replay and see what happened to him in the Mercedes. So you can see him going through the chicane in his black and white Mercedes. A little bit onto the grass there. That shouldn't affect him too much into the first Lesmo. He's got Toussaint behind him and runs wide onto the gravel and then spins, hits the barrier, giving him his damage. So unfortunate from him. But there's still 9.5 minutes left to go in the session to try and find time, and we've got Math Gamer off at the 2nd Lesmo as well, so I'm going to assume that he done a similar thing to what Scouting Ninja done earlier and just run wide, but he was on the hards, interestingly. Interesting tactic, this track, not too harsh on the tyres as it is mainly straight. Woody comes into the pit, so it's going to be Ted across the line, goes up into 3rd place, 3.8 seconds quicker, 1:47.4 for his time. Epic in 6th place, a 1:49.6. Toussaint moves his way ahead of Dutchy with a 1:46.7. Finn improves into 5th, and so did Fergie the Viper, also improves, 4 tenths behind Finn. Play Duchy though goes even quicker, 3.5 tenths quicker than Tiger Assassin. Dutchy in the Toyota with a 1:46.4 for the provisional pole time. A few more people approaching the final corner, Wolfie being one of them, Daniel Gardenzi as well, improving on their times. Daniel currently sitting in last place, but only 1 second behind Scouting Ninja, and he'll be looking to try and find slipstream off someone. He's got his teammate there in front of him to help him with that. but the gaps up front are pretty close, only 100th separating Tiger and Toussaint. Ted though 6/10ths clear either side of Toussaint and Finn, and someone's got a penalty in front of Ted. I didn't quite see who that was. It's Epic serving one of his penalties, and I believe is it Epic and Ted currently coming through Ascari now. Ted, I believe, is on a fast lap. Epic serving a penalty but still improving, so he's probably got plenty of pace left to find, currently in 9th place. But Ted though, we'll see how he ran a little bit wide through Ascari. That might pick up a penalty, but got away with it this time, still on the soft tyres. So we'll just have to wait and see whether he can improve on his time. Currently sat in 4th place. It's been a good quali from him so far in the Aston Martin. So we'll eventually see what time he does, whether he'll improve on his 1:47.7, but decides to come into the pits, and I think Epic follows him. A smart move from him. He'll be able to regain his teammate's slipstream, and I think the majority of drivers are pitting in to get off of those Warner soft tyres and pit for fresh rubber. Berkey the Viper also decides to come into the pits, and Finn stays out on his super soft tyres. Epic onto the super soft, so one of the other few drivers onto the super soft, Ted onto the super soft as well, but the two BCMR drivers, the Aston Martins, out on a set of soft tyres, interestingly, so they think the soft tyres can go quicker than the super softs here in this quali session. 7 minutes left to go. We've actually got a nice train, or I say a nice trainer, we've got a slipstream train forming here, consisting, I think it's Tiger, Toussaint, Ted, Furky and Play Dutchy. You can see there Dutchy making his way through the field. He's on an outlap though, so it's not going to count towards anything. We've got Math Gamer also on an outlap. He's kind of by himself at the back, so won't be getting any slipstream from no car in head. Obviously cleaner air in front. The slipstream probably knocks out quite a few tenths, maybe even close to the second mark, but yeah, but there's a long train forming. There's Ted, you can see there Ted getting out the way of Furky and Play Dutchy, both on an outlap though. And I think Dutchy's trying to get ahead of, yeah, Play Dutchy overtaking Furky the Viper. And welcome everyone in the chat. I hope you are going to enjoy this race. It surely is hopefully going to be an absolutely great race here, but we've got a few cars coming through the final corner now. iFin's one of them. I'm just trying to see who's about to cross the line. I don't know who that is. It's Woody. Moves up into 5th place, 47.6. Can Finn improve? Does it improve 2/10ths off of his personal best? But you can just see here a train of cars forming into Parabolica. And Tiger Assassin appears to be leading this train. Dutchy makes the move to overtake. This could get a little bit messy. It's almost like the real life F1 Grand Prix from a few years ago. But here is the train that we were all expecting. Play Dutchy, I believe, leads the train as Scouting Ninja actually goes quicker. Dutchy though has Scouting Ninja in front of him for a little bit of slipstream. Toussaint's got Tiger's slipstream. Tiger might have Ted's slipstream. It's Wolfie's slipstream, sorry. It's going to be close though. I'm not sure he's in the slipstream train yet, but it's going to be close. Currently sitting just under 4/10ths behind Play Dutchy, who's got pole pretty much every race. I think every race this season. Math Gamer without slipstream has improved on his lap somehow. 2 seconds off Dutchy's time, and moves his way up into 9th place. So pretty good lap from the Lexus driver, considering he had no slipstream on his lap. He's kind of found himself by himself going through turns 1 and 2. But you can see here the train, Tiger, Toussaint and Play Dutchy, the top 3 in the championship. And just having a quick look, Epic hasn't improved in his time. He's still in 10th place. He's backing off of this lap, allowing Furky the Viper to go through, so he might be trying to find someone to slipstream off. Obviously you don't want to be too close, just in case the driver in front makes a mistake. But I believe Toussaint's got a set of purple sector. I'm not too sure, but he's got the purple name next to his time, so we'll keep an eye on that. Ted getting a 2-second time penalty for corner cutting at Ascari, sorry, not Parabolica. Finn is into the pits, and Epic slowing down to let a few cars go through, so he's going to be trying to get some slipstream off some of the other drivers, whilst also slipstreaming some others. And I think that was Scouting Ninja going side by side with someone into the final corner. But 3.5 minutes left to go. This is where things get slightly interesting with reduced fuel and fresher tyres. Scouting Ninja improves on his time of 49.2, and Toussaint sets a new fastest time, 400ths quicker than Play Dirty, a 46.361, and you can see there he backs off his lap. He doesn't want any of his other rivals getting the slipstream. Play Dirty tucking in the slipstream of Epic's Aston Martin, currently sat in 7th and 11th place, so Epic will be trying to improve on his time, as Matt Gamer goes up into 6th place on those semi-fresh super softs in his Lexus, the 48 flat, and without a slipstream. That's a pretty impressive lap, so potentially we might see him do well in the race if he can keep the slipstream and the pace up. But Play Dutchy going almost 5 tenths quicker than his personal best in the first sector, so we'll keep an eye on this lap from Play Dutchy in the Toyota. He's tucked in behind Epic. He's got that slipstream. The dirty air might cost him a little bit in the corners, but there are only 11 corners round this track, so plenty of straights and plenty of opportunities. What he doesn't want to do is catch Epic though, going into Ascari or Parabolica. That could cost him a little bit of time. Epic though has Ted's slipstream in front, so you can just see here the train of slipstream from these drivers. Woody improves, goes up into 5th place, 1 minute 47.48, and he tucks in behind Ted's Aston. I think Ted's in the Aston Martin, not too sure. Epic running a little bit wide through Ascari, and we'll just keep an eye on these two guys, see where they go. Ted picking up a penalty for that, and decides to serve it on the doesn't decide to serve it actually. Play Dutchy going down the inside of Epic, so this could be a really good lap from Play Dutchy. Let's just keep an eye on it. He's on the soft compounder tyre in the run up to the line. Scouting Ninja improves. What's it going to be from Play Dutchy? Doesn't improve, interestingly, so stays 2nd place. Epic moves up into 4th with the 47 flat, and it's got to be pretty close between these guys, as Dutchy looking to be quite racy into turn 1. Epic 3 tenths behind Tiger, 3 tenths behind Dutchy, who's 500ths behind Toussaint. So Toussaint try and get his first pole position of the season. Has got a bit of clear air in front of him to try and set a competitive lap. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a train, got a bit of a racing train going on here. Scouting Ninja and Furky the Viper having a bit of a collision. Let's have a little quick look at that to see if there's any contact. Scouting Ninja was 5 tenths up on his lap. Both drivers, I believe, were on a lap. So yeah, they both were on a lap. And I think there was a little bit of contact from Furky the Viper. Not too sure though. And that's Scouting off into the gravel, and I don't think he's going to have enough time to complete another lap with 20 seconds left to go. Moves over and lets Daniel Gardenzi go through, but got another train approaching Ascari now, consisting of Epic. I think that's Finn behind him, and Furky the Viper's in front. Furky the Viper running a little bit wide. Woody's into the pit, so I don't think he's going to be able to improve on his lap with 0 seconds effectively left to go. So these are the drivers' final laps in quali. We'll see what time Furky the Viper does in the BMW. I don't know if it's going to be an improvement from that minor collision with Scouting Ninja. He's currently set at 1:48.5. We'll just see what time he does in the run up to the line. He just doesn't improve. Epic improves, 100th behind Tiger, so pretty close from those guys. Tiger and Toussaint now going to be crossing the line almost simultaneously. Both have the slipstream of each other. Will any of them improve? Tiger puts it on pole position by 2 tenths, sorry, ahead of his teammate Toussaint, and denies Toussaint of his first pole position. Daniel Gardenzi improves in his lap, however it's good enough for last place, but a pretty good quali from him in his first GT Sport race of the season, as I just joined for this race. But your starting grid for today's action-packed Monza Grand Prix will be Tiger Assassin lines up on pole position, his first of the season, followed by Toussaint in second, 2 tenths behind. Play Dutchy couldn't improve on any of his laps and is 400ths behind Toussaint. Epic puts himself up into 4th place, Ted in his teammates in 5th, Woody in 6th, Math Gamer in 7th, Finn in the Ferrari will start in 8th place, Fergie the Viper in 9th, Wolfie in 10th, Scouting Ninja in 11th, and Daniel will start in 12th place. But overall a pretty good qualifying, really close between the top runners, and should hopefully make for a competitive race in just a few minutes. But here is your pole man once again, Tiger Assassin 99 in the Aston Martin, and it's a 1-2 for the BCMR team. I think Tiger has out-qualified his teammates in every race but one. I think that one was Brands Hatch, I think. I'm not too sure. But there we go, qualifying has ended. There is your starting grid, and interestingly 5 drivers picked up a penalty in that qualifying session, so they'll have to keep an eye on that during the race. But here we go then. Sorry about this, but I've just seen your comment, Yordi. How are you doing? I'm doing excellent, and I cannot wait for the start of this race. Just having a quick drink before we start, before we get given the 5 red lights, which we cannot unfortunately see, but I'm going to guess it's 5 red lights. Actually, we can see a few lights. There's 1 light, and there's another light, and it's lights out, and away we go. And a really good start from Fergie the Viper, up into 8th place already. But in the run, it's a long run down to turn 1. We'll let me see many drivers make the moves down the inside. Toussaint doesn't challenge his teammates. Finn in the Ferrari challenging Plate Dutchie, going down the inside. Ted and Woody going side by side towards the back. Epic dropping down to 5th place. Fergie the Viper, similar to last week, a really good start up into 6th place, and overall a pretty good start from everyone. We've got Daniel getting himself up into 11th place, but it's the 2 Aston Martins, the 2 BCMR drivers who lead the way, followed by Dutchie and Finn in 4th, Epic in 5th. Epic might actually look for a move on Finn, doesn't decide to go for anything just yet, but looking towards the rest of the field, I don't think anyone's made any moves into turn 3 to enter 4 and 5, sorry. And it's Tiger and Toussaint who still lead the way. Epic closing in on Finn, only 2 tenths behind, and overall pretty clean start from everyone. No major contact between anyone, no crashes, which is really good to see. And Epic not getting the best of exits, but will tuck in behind the slipstream of Finn, and will potentially try and make a move into Ascari. Not quite close enough yet. We've got action at the back, Fergie the Viper and Woody. Ted might try and get involved. We're to go 3 wide into Ascari. Ted going down the inside of Woody, but unable to make the move yet. A little bit of contact and a big step of oversteer. Almost collected Wolfie, and that's Math Gamer off into the gravel at Ascari. And we'll just get a quick onboard replay from the Lexus's point of view. You can see there some of the drivers going side by side. Goes in a little bit too deep onto the gravel, sorry, and causing his Lexus into a bit of a spin. But you can see Toussaint. What's happened to Tiger? Sorry, I've completely missed this. To looking at another crash. On board with Tiger Assassin, he's gone way too deep into the corner with rear damage. So maybe there was contact between him and Dutchie. I'm sorry I didn't see that on stream, too busy looking at Math Gamer's crash. But how unfortunate for him, and that's promoted Finn up into the lead of the race as he's going for a move on Toussaint down the inside, and the Ferrari driver gets himself up into the lead. Play Dutchie drops into 4th place. Epic and Toussaint both having penalties. Epic moving his way up into 3rd place, and how this has changed in the championship quite drastically so far. We've only had 3 minutes and Finn has somehow got his Ferrari up into the lead, but Toussaint's going to challenge him down the inside into turn 3, and keeps his Aston Martin in there. Gets forced a little bit wide. That's allowed Epic and Dutchie both to go through. Dutchie's going to have a look down the inside of Toussaint into the first lesson, but doesn't quite make anything of it, and that's demoted Toussaint into 3rd place. Epic getting up into 2nd, and will follow the Ferrari down into the 2nd Lesmo in the run down to Ascari. But Tiger falling all the way back as Wolfie actually having a bit of a spin, getting front damage, but Tiger with the rear damage overtaking Woody into the 2nd Lesmo, has a lot of work to do. Math Game with front aero and suspension damage doesn't decide to pit, so he's going to be losing a lot of pace, especially into the corners, and we'll have difficulties turning, especially with both front tyres, both of his front suspensions damaged. Meanwhile, the battle up front is getting really hot and feisty as Play Dutchie picks up a 1 second penalty. These penalties are quite harsh here at Monza, running just over the white lines just a little bit, picking themselves up a time penalty. Finn running a little bit wide and not giving all the best of exits. Toussaint and Epic are going to go side by side around the final corner in the run down to turn 1. Toussaint though will back off and get tucked into the slipstream. Finn weaving a little bit to break the slipstream from the guys behind. And there's Epic looking for a move down the inside of Finn potentially, whilst also going defensive from Toussaint behind. So all these drivers have got to be pretty careful, as Epic's actually inside Finn. I'm not sure how legal this is in terms of real racing, but it's happening here in the GT Sport League. But an on-board from Finn's perspective, you can just see the train of cars. Woody's also getting done behind, and you can see the racing with Ferrari on the rear of Finn's bumper. Epic might actually look for a move down the inside. We'll get an onboard, not a backwards onboard, that's my bad. On board with Epic, and you can just see the train of cars behind. I think that's Fergie the Viper as well gaining on this battle, as Dutch and Toussaint now inside each other. The ghosting system with the penalties, and Dutchy's actually picked up damage, and Toussaint's got front damage. Does anyone else have damage? I think Dutchy might come into the pits, and we've got a car from the background. It's Ted. He's got a 1.4 second time penalty. His rear left has taken a beating with tyre wear somewhere, so maybe he's had a wheel spinning moment. But Toussaint and Dutchy both picking up damage and penalties in the early phases of this race. Not forgetting that Tiger and Math Game are also picking up a few bits of damage from this race. I'm not too sure what happened with Tiger, whether he was too late on the brakes or whether there was contact between him, his teammate, or possibly Dutchy. And only they know what happened. But you can see Woody is now 5 tenths off this battle, and this has become a five car battle for the lead, as Toussaint and Epic are going to go side by side into the final corner. Epic running a little bit wide, that's allowed Toussaint to go down the inside, but they're going to go side by side now in the run down to turn 1. We've only had 5 minutes here, and these guys are always these guys are constantly battling for the lead of this race. Play Dutchy now, it's also attacking to the slipstream of these guys, and this is going to be helping out Finn a lot in the Ferrari. I don't know how Finn and the Ferrari is winning, where he came from in all of this. Finn on the softs as Epic gets a big snap of oversteer through the exit of turn 1. That's going to allow Toussaint and potentially Dutchy to follow through. Dutchy in the Toyota down the inside into turn 3, the long swooping right-hander. And as they approach turn 4 and 5, they're going to want to slow the cars down. Heavy on the brakes, braking just before the 100-metre board, I think, into the left, followed by the right, riding the curbs a little bit, making sure not to run wide onto the gravel, and all cleanly from these guys so far. Woody though 4 tenths behind Epic, so he'll be looking to get involved in this battle. The two guys, Dutch and Toussaint, still have the damage, not pitting yet. Finn though picking up getting a 1.2 second lead over these guys, which could be crucial with the power of the slipstream. However, he's in the super softs, maybe not such a bad idea. This track isn't known for high tyre wear due to its just long straights and lack of elevation. Epic's going to try and go for a move down the inside of Dutch into Ascari, and because of the Dutchy serving as penalty ghosts, and that allows Epic to promote himself up into 3rd. You can see the two BDE teammates, Dutch and Woody, now running 4th and 5th respectively. Maybe they'll try and use each other as slipstream and try and catch up to these guys in front and not battle too much, as Daniel Gardenzi has actually moved his way up into 8th place, getting past Scouting Ninja in the Mercedes. You can see there in the background Tiger's having to make a comeback drive, as Scouting's going to look for a move down the inside of Gardenzi into the final corner. Will he get it done late on the brakes, and gets his Mercedes ahead of the Audi, promotes himself up into 8th place. Meanwhile, the gap at the front has come down to 7 tenths, so the slipstream still effective from 1.1 seconds back. And Epic looking for a late move down the inside of Toussaint, and there's contact between the two. We'll just get a quick on board with that. I didn't quite get the best angle. You can see in the rundown towards turn 1. Epic braking just after the 150-metre board. Late move down the inside, and a little bit of contact between those two. I don't think Toussaint picked up damage from it. Only has the front bumper damage from before, but in the run down towards turn 3 now, Toussaint decides not to go for a move down the inside, and is allowing Finn to extend his gap to 1 second, now 9 tenths though, so Finn hasn't got the gap he wants. If he can really push on those super softs and make them last, or maybe he might try and conserve them and allow these guys behind to fight, but obviously if he gets caught in this slipstream train, then he's going to find himself defending in a few laps time. But the gap now 7 tenths to the lead, Meanwhile, Toussaint, Dutchy and Woody are all still looking like good contenders for race winners. Fergie the Viper has dropped to 5.4 seconds off this pack, and you can see Ted 2 seconds behind the BMW driver. And what a race this has been. And it's only been 9 minutes, so we've still got 51 minutes left. And hopefully it will provide some awesome racing for us, as Dutchy almost looking for a move down the inside of Toussaint. Not quite close enough though, only a tenth, so we might try something into the final corner. Dutchy though still has that front left suspension damage and a front aero damage, so doesn't decide to pit. Tiger currently has the fastest lap at 1:47.5, and these guys are almost getting caught up in a slipstream train, but not close enough to make the move yet. As you can see there, Woody still closing in behind these guys for the lead of the race. Epic's closed down the gap on Finn. Finn's tyre starting to go off a little bit potentially, as Tiger's actually moved his way up into 8th place, getting past Daniel Gardensi. Daniel being a new driver in the Audi. And I can't remember where Finn qualified. I think he qualified 8th, I think. Not too sure, I can't quite remember, but Finn's actually made a mistake and has dropped himself down to 3rd place. See if my replay cameras, he's done it through turn 3 and 4, and replay cameras couldn't go that far back, but Finn closing in on the battle for the lead. He's got Toussaint in his tight sights. Will he try and go for a move into Ascari? Not close enough yet, but Charles Leclerc saying he thinks P8 or P7 for Finn. Really well to get himself up into 3rd place. You can see played Dutchy technically almost pushing him through the corner, through Ascari. Dutchy still with the front damage, and this battle for the lead is still on. Epic though currently leads the way. Toussaint in 2nd, Finn in 3rd, Dutchy in 4th, Woody in 5th. Ted has got himself up ahead of Ferkie's Viper in 7th. Tiger though on a comeback drive after going too deep into Parabolica. I don't know if there was contact, I didn't quite see. Is up into 8th. Daniel in 9th, Scouting in 10th, Wolfie in 11th, and Matt Gamer after his spin at Ascari is up down into 12th I should say. But there's Finn in the Ferrari looking for a move down the inside of Toussaint, but I don't know if he's not close enough just yet to make the move stick. And Woody going for a move down the inside of Dutchy. His teammate, the two BDE teammates battling here. They're going to go side by side now into turn 3, but Woody decides to back out, and he's actually got rear left suspension damage. And I don't know if that was caused by Dutchy, as Toussaint now making moves for the lead, but decides to back out, setting a purple first sector though. And sits in behind Epic for now. And just got another battle at the back in the midfield, between Ted and Fergie the Viper. Fergie the Viper getting a little bit out of shape through turn 5, got himself a 5/10 penalty. Don't know whether he had more penalties in before that, but look at the gap between Finn and Toussaint. No soft tyre, those super softs currently not really working for Finn. Epic and Toussaint now in their own slipstream train, and they'll slowly be pulling away from the guys behind. As Dutchy's all over the back of the Ferrari through Ascari. Maybe he'll try and go for a move into Parabolica. As you can just see, with this damage, he's not quite quick enough in a straight line, but he's going to go for a move down the inside. Side by side they go into turn 11. Dutchy unable to make any moves just yet, but maybe we'll see the likes of Dutchy and Toussaint coming for an undercut with their damage. And Dutchy are now all over the back of Finn. Will he look for something into turn 1? Pulls over to the right hand side, but it's not quite late enough on the brakes or close enough to make the move stick. But he might try and get a good run here. You can see Finn getting a little bit out of shape on those worn soft tyres. And that's Toussaint going for a move for the lead down the inside of Epic into turn 3. These two and both in the Aston Martin are going to go side by side into turn 4. Epic's going to try and hold it down the inside. but isn't quite close enough or late enough on the brakes to make a move. Finn staying ahead of Epic, of Play Dutchy. As I say that, Finn's made a mistake and had a big snap of oversteer, and that's allowed Play Dutchy to go through. Woody might try and look for a move down the inside, not quite close enough yet, and I think personally it's time for Finn to pit off those super soft tyres, but maybe he might try and go for the soft tyres and try and copy the different strategies that Toussaint, Epic and Dutchy are all trying with the soft tyre. As Tigers also made his way up into 7th place. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th place is still on. Woody looking for a move down the inside into Ascari, but he's not quite close enough to make the move on Finn just yet. Dutchy's got a 3-second gap to close down to the two leaders. Epic getting back past Toussaint, but Toussaint's not going to give up without a fight in the slipstream of Epic, and doesn't go for anything into the final corner, pretty much pushing him through turn 11. Still got that front bumper damage, but it doesn't seem to make contact, that's what I was saying. And Toussaint now looking for a move on Epic, maybe trying to go down the inside. He's pulled over to the right hand side. You can see there in the background Finn and Dutchy battling away. Toussaint, will he go for a move down the inside? Not quite close enough just yet, but Finn's able to get himself back past Play Dutchy. And Woody there still with the rear left suspension damage, hanging on in 5th place, but meanwhile the battle for the lead. Toussaint and Epic continues. Toussaint's going to look for it round the outside, maybe tucks in the slipstream of Epic. You can see him gaining, and will look for a move down the inside into turn 4 and 5, and Toussaint's a little bit too late on the brakes and has had to take to the escape rope, but the game's put him back on track halfway through turn 3, and has come out in this battle for 2nd place and tried to take the escape road, but the game has reset him to the track and he's come out ahead of Play Dutchy and behind Finn. So this has given Epic a 2.8 second lead, and as Toussaint rejoin in the mix of things with Dutchy right behind him, looking for a move potentially into Ascari. I'm sure Toussaint ain't going to be too happy about that. A small mistake has cost him dearly. I don't know if the reset to track option was on, or the game just resetting him to the track on purpose, thinking that he was legitimately cutting the corner. But Dutchy now all over the back of Toussaint. We might see the podium positions change rapidly, as just appreciate how we've got a blue, a red and yellow, a white and a red car battling here. 4 cars in all different colours. You love to see it, and I don't know if it's just me, but it's quite satisfying actually. Woody running a little bit wide into the final corner, and Play Dutchy the first of the front runners into the pits. So we saw this last time with I think it was Duke or Tiger pitting early. Cost them a lot of time. Obviously these guys all have the slipstream and low fuel, but Toussaint going for a move down the inside of Finn, and Finn gets a nudge from Woody and picks up rear damage. Woody has front bumper damage and has cost him a lot of time, and that's given Toussaint a 1.1 second lead advantage over Finn. Finn now with rear damage and worn super soft tyres. Tiger's now made his way up into 5th place, comes out ahead of Dutchy. Dutchy having to pit for new tyres, fuel and the damage, but he's got a 1.8 second penalty and trying to close back in on the leaders, trying to do a similar race to what Play Dutchy was doing last time out in Alsace Village. Meanwhile the gaps out front have extended as Epic's got himself a 4-second lead over Toussaint, and Finn in 3rd, but with that rear damage. And not sure what happened to the BCMR drivers. Cryptech, I don't know if they made contact. When I went onto the replay cameras, it just showed me Tiger going very deep into the final corner and into the gravel he went. I didn't see anything beyond that. Scout Ninja though, and Woody having a little bit, Wolfie having a bit of a battle for 10th place. It's a Porsche versus a Mercedes, both German engineering. So we'll just have to see how those guys do, as there's Woody making the moves on Finn. Both have damage in this race, and we might see them pit on this lap reacting to Play Dutchy. Let's just have a quick look, and I think Finn's coming into the pits, coming off of those worn super soft tyres, and pits probably for repairing the rear aero damage as well. And Connor asking if the under or overcut will work, and at this stage of the race the overcut, so the undercut might work. None of these drivers up top are in the slipstream of each other, and we saw last season the slipstream, the overcut really helped drivers in the slipstream. People were pitting, coming up in clean air, but not getting the critical slipstream that they need. And Play Dutchy comes out ahead of Finn, and Daniel Gardenzi splits the two drivers. Dutchy coming out about 5-6 seconds ahead of Ted, and Finn 8/10 behind Ted, so with Finn pitting for another set of super soft tyres. So it's going for an aggressive strategy in this race, as Scouting Ninja's actually dropped Math Gamer, who's got damage. Does Wolfie have damage? Wolfie's pitted onto the hard, he's on the hard tyres. Interesting choice from him. And a really interesting choice from him. I don't think the hards have ever been used before, so I think he's the first onto the hard runners. But we now have Daniel Gardenzi in 6th place after starting last in his first GT Sport race of the season. He is in the Audi, teammates with Wolfie being in the Porsche, and you see there Ted in the Aston Martin making moves, or trying to make moves on the Audi, pulling over to the left hand side of the track, which will be the inside line for Ascari, and he goes down the inside, and a pretty simple move from Ted up into 6th place. And Toussaint now into the pits, another one of the front runners in. Woody follows him in with the damage, and Daniel Gardenzi will be trying to defend from Finn on those fresher super softs. Finn will be like a bullet in the early phases of this stint, and will actually try and go down the inside, and a really good move from him. Promotes himself up to 7th place, but look at this, Play Dutchy ahead of Toussaint, and Ted also goes through, and comes out ahead of Ted and Finn. Woody though, not so good, coming out in the middle of this battle, and we'll go side by side with Finn into turn 1, but not quite close enough to get the move stick. And you can see there in the background, 1.5 seconds behind this is Tiger Assassin, currently 2nd place in the championship. Woody putting for the soft tyres, Toussaint also on the softs, and Play Dutchy another one on the soft tyres. And that undercut has actually worked nicely for Dutchy. 6.3 second advantage over Toussaint. And if you look at their lap times, Toussaint's been doing 49s, 1 minute 53, so maybe he made a mistake on that lap. 149, but Play Dutchy 149, 148, 147, so you can just see those fresher tyres really helping out Dutchy. And this will be interesting, because Epic might be worried about Dutchy's undercut, but the top guys all had damage. Dutchy, Toussaint, Finn and Woody all repaired damage. That would have cost them about 2 to 6 seconds depending on what type of damage. I think it would have cost them 4 seconds worth of 4 seconds worth of damage for the suspension. I think aero takes 2 seconds and the suspension takes 4. Play Dutchy though on the soft tyres is coming down the start finish straight. Where's Epic coming out of the pits? This will be pretty close actually, on board with Play Dutchy, and you can see him go through there and come out ahead of Epic, but Epic's going to try and go down the inside of the Toyota and comes out in the lead of the race, but Epic will have to be defending from a very quick Dutchy. And Dutchy, you can see there flashing his lights. The undercut almost worked for him, but had a lot of damage to repair on his Toyota, and without that damage would have come out probably 3 seconds ahead of Epic potentially. Dutchy, having won 3 of the past 4 races and putting it on pole every time, was unable to put it on pole for this race, and settled for 3rd. He's currently fighting for the lead of the race, and you can see there we've got a monumental battle here for 4th place. 4 drivers, Ted, Finn, Tiger and Woody, all in a little bit of a train here, and I'll keep an eye on the battle for the lead whilst having a look at this battle for 4th place. Ted on what seems to be fresh soft, so he's made a really good strategy work, but it's currently got Finn and Tiger closing in behind. On board with Finn now, and we can just get a rear view cam of Ted there. You can just see a train of cars behind him. Finn, Tiger and Woody will all be trying to make moves into 4th place and try and close down a 5.3 second gap to Saint, as Epic and Play Dutchy are going to be going side by side to the final corner, as Dutchy gets the move up into the lead of the race. Epic will tuck in behind for the slipstream down towards turn 1, but Finn going defensive whilst also attacking Ted and trying to make a move, unable to just yet. Play Dutchy and Epic going side by side. This is where split screen would come in handy. Dutchy tried to defend, but Epic finding the room on the inside will go down the inside of Play Dutchy, though Dutchy will try the switchback and unable to make anything work on Epic. You can see here back up to 4th place. Finn going for moves on Ted. Ted down the inside. Finn defending his 5th place, but Ted getting reset before turn 1. And Tiger picks up a 1.5 second time penalty, but Ted going too deep into turn 1, cut turn 1 and got reset back to 7th place, so really unfortunate for him. Tiger's going to try and go side by side now with Finn into turn 4 sorry, and go down the inside of the Ferrari and up into 4th place. Meanwhile, what great racing we've had. Unfortunately, the setting to the reset to track kind of in-game setting is kind of not helped out a lot of these drivers. As you can see, Dutchy is going to go for a move into Ascari. Almost went down the inside, but decided to back out into Ascari. We've actually got a few guys going side by side. Scouting Ninja getting past Daniel Gardenzi. Matt Gamer ahead of Wolfie. Meanwhile, Finn is still having to defend from a pacey Tiger behind him. He put up Tiger, putting it on pole position. 2 tenths clear of his teammate. Pulls over to the left hand side. Now the run down in towards turn 11. And Tiger will try and go around the outside, but currently not able to make any moves just yet. All tucking the slipstream, but meanwhile up front Play Dutchy and Epic once again going side by side in towards turn 1. Dutchy late on the brakes and is able to get the move up into turn 1. To Saint though is only 3 seconds behind these guys, so the gap's slowly coming down. Meanwhile, Woody's actually going to have a look on Tiger now. Down the inside goes the Toyota and cuts the corner a little bit. That might be a penalty for the Irish driver, but ultimately runs wide on the exit of turn 2 and doesn't get a penalty for that, so almost got away with it. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders got once again going side by side into turn 4, and Dutchy is able to get himself up into the lead of the race. Looking down the rest of the field, Finn is still having to defend from Tiger behind him, and Woody dropping back 1.9 seconds behind these guys after picking up a little bit of a collision. Sorry, not collision, going wide turn 2. And looking down, just having a quick look at the back, you can see there Wolfie closing in a math game as well. Wolfie on those hard tyres still. Meanwhile, Epic's 5 tenths behind Play Dutchy. 2 Saint though 2 seconds behind those guys. Tiger now closer than ever to the back of that Ferrari. 1 tenth separate him. Maybe he might go for a move into Ascari. On board, there's space on the outside. He looks for it round the outside, but decides to back off for now. Couldn't quite find the room around the outside, and he'll tuck in the slipstream. He's got a good run though on Finn, and we could see a potential move for 4th place as Tiger going down the inside. This is allowing Woody to catch up a bit. Now Woody's 1 second behind this battle. Tiger down the inside of the Ferrari, but couldn't quite make a move yet. Meanwhile, the battle back up top. God, this race does not stop as Epic binding room on the inside. We'll try and go down the inside once again into turn 1, a little bit too late on the brakes, and gets reset back to track into 3rd place, and has been punished by the game once again, so really unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Finn still defending from Tiger. Finn doing an excellent job defending from the man who put it on pole, and Tiger all over the back of the Ferrari. But just going to quickly have a look here for the battle for second place. Epic not able to get ahead of Toussaint yet. Toussaint getting himself up into second place. Will try and challenge Dutchy for the lead. Meanwhile, this battle for fourth place still continues as Tiger's finally going to try and go down the inside of the Ferrari into turn 4 and makes the move stick. And really good move from him late on the brakes. Finn losing a little bit of time to that, 7/10 now behind Tiger, and on those super soft tyres will start to struggle in the next few laps. The majority of these guys on similar amounts of fuel. Tiger's got slightly more, but he's got front damage as well. I don't know where he picked that up from. Toussaint and Epic will be trying to close down a 2.1 second gap ahead to play Dutchy, but cannot do anything of it just yet. Just going to have a quick look down towards the back of the pack. Wolfie getting ahead of Math Gamer into turn 1 on the soft tyres now, so coming off of those slower hard tyres onto the racing softs, and he'll try and get himself as high up as he can in the Porsche. Meanwhile though, Epic and Toussaint don't want to battle too hard if they want to close down the gap to the championship leader, Play Dutchy, who's currently leading this race. Toussaint setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:46.940. Epic will try and look for a move, potentially down the inside into turn 1, and doesn't want to overcut it. We've seen a few drivers overcut it and then get reset to track as Tiger is into the pits from those soft tyres. So possibly going to repair the damage down to the front of his car, and Woody trying to go down the inside of Finn into turn 1 and gets the move done. Finn starting to struggle a little bit on those soft tyres. Ted's also into the pits and might get overtaken by Scouting Ninja. He does. And Daniel Gardenzi also coming down the start finish straight will get past the Aston Martin driver. And Math Gamer getting back ahead of Wolfie now into 11th place. But the gap between Epic and Dutchy relatively consistent, 2.1 seconds still, but has Toussaint 4/10 behind him. Woody now ahead of Finn, still 5/10 between them. Woody going for that move down the inside. And just bear with me for 2 seconds, guys. The stream has stopped on my phone. I don't know if it's just me. I think that could just be my internet. Okay, I think we're still live. I hope we're still live. And if we're not, then that's going to be quite sad. But meanwhile, if we are still live, Epic and Toussaint will be battling into the final corner. Toussaint trying to go down the inside of of another Aston Martin driver, and they're going to go side by side now down the start finish straight. And I think we are still live. If someone could just put in the chat saying we're live, that would be excellent. But meanwhile, Toussaint trying to battle again with Epic. These guys not battling too hard, as Play Dutchy's gap has come down slightly, but Finn now getting back past Woody up into 4th place, and thanks Connor for confirming we're live. It's probably my internet, and it wouldn't surprise me if my internet was that slow. But meanwhile, Finn getting back past Woody. Woody not able to make the move. It gets a bit confusing when you've got 2 drivers called Woody and Wolfie. I'm probably going to make this mistake a fair bit during the season, but meanwhile Toussaint getting ahead of Epic into the first Lesmo down the inside, and promotes himself up into 2nd place. This battle is this has been an absolutely great race, and we've only had 32 minutes now. Meanwhile, Finn and Woody are still battling, and what an excellent race. Woody though has actually dropped off a little bit from Finn, made a little bit of mistake into the first Lesmo, and Epic 3/10 behind Toussaint. But these two will be trying to close them and Play Dutchy. Toussaint running a little bit wide, lifted off a word or a phrase, but I'm trying to think of a phrase. I can't quite think of it. It'll probably come to me at a point where it's no longer important or have any use or context. But Epic though, besides that, going down the inside of Toussaint into the final corner. You can see there Play Dutchy up in front. It's got much less fuel than these guys as they go side by side. down the start finish straight. Epic backs off and allows Toussaint to lead into turn 1 as they're closing in on Dutchy just a little bit. 1.8 seconds now separating them, and thank you Charles for letting me know that we're still live. Woody closing in on the back of Finn. Interestingly, Finn has less tyre wear on the on the fronts than Woody. Woody having more of an all-round tyre wear, meanwhile Finn having more on the rears, so that's interesting from those two. And Toussaint still maintains second place, Epic in third, Finn holding off Woody for now. Woody looking for a move down the inside, but isn't quite close enough to go for anything just yet. There's Tiger 10 seconds behind these guys. Came into the pits a few laps ago. He's repaired his damage and pitted for a fresh set of soft tyres. Berkey the Viper in 7th and 7 seconds behind Tiger and 7 seconds behind Scouting Ninja, who's in 8th and has 13 seconds behind him. Daniel Gardensi in 10th, followed by Math Gamer in 11th, and Wolfie rounding up the grid. But meanwhile we've had 75. No, we haven't had 75% of the race. We've had 35 minutes, and has Dutchy made a mistake? I think Dutchy's made a mistake, as Toussaint and Epic have closed down the gap to play Dutchy. Dutchy really struggling on those soft tyres, and the gap now 4/10, so this has now become a three-way fight for the lead as Toussaint sets the new fastest lap of the race, almost 2/10 quicker than what he'd previously done. But surely play Dutchy struggling a little bit here, as Toussaint's going to go down the inside into turn 1, and that's promoted him up into the lead of the race. And Dutchy drops down into second place. Epic's going to try and capitalise on Toussaint's move for the lead and go side by side with Dutchy now into turn 3. The long swooping right-hander, and both maintaining a really good line. And these guys have been absolutely outstanding all race today, as Epic's going to try and go for a move down the inside of play Dutchy, a little bit of contact, but all friendly nudges are in hope, as Dutchy had to reserve to cut in the corner just a little bit to get through. But Epic is up into second place, Dutchy going from first to third in 4 corners. Not how he was probably hoping his lap 20 would go for him. But meanwhile, Toussaint now leads the way, almost over a second between him and Epic. So Epic's going to try and close down the gap to Toussaint, and the slipstream really helping him close down the time on the straight. And play Dutchy still closely behind in third. Woody and Finn still battling away for 4th place. This has been absolutely great racing. Woody though has a 1.3 second time penalty, and is going to pull over to the right hand side of Finn and try and go for a move. He just gives Finn a little nudge to let him know he's there on the right hand side. Woody trying to outbrake the Ferrari into a Ascari, but couldn't quite go for a move, and he tries the switch back. A little bit of contact, Finn trying to defend from Woody, and maintains 4th place. But meanwhile we've still got the battle for the lead continuing, as these guys just absolutely outstanding racing, similar to what we saw in Alsace, but this time absolutely side by side, down the inside, round the outside, almost every corner here in Monza. Monza never fails to provide good racing, as there's a little bit of contact between Epic and Toussaint into turn 1. Epic gets his way, moves himself up into the lead of the race. Finn into the pits and comes off of those super soft tyres. Dutchy now back into 3rd place. We'll be watching this battle in front of him for the lead. Let's ride on board with the Toyota driver. You can see the 2 leaders going side by side into turn 4 and 5. I don't know if they have a name. They probably do have a name, but I can't quite remember their names. I'm just going to call it turn 5. But into the 1st and 2nd Lesmo now. Epic still leads the way. Toussaint closely behind in 2nd. You can see these guys all separated by 4 seconds. And halfway through lap 21, only 22 minutes left to go in this race. Play Dutchy running out of fuel a little bit. I would think he's going to come into the pits this lap, and just going to ride on board there real quick as Toussaint almost making a move, and you can see there Play Dutchy getting really close to the rear of the Aston Martin in front of him, and both the Epic and Toussaint running a little bit wide for Ascari. That could be a time penalty for them. Meanwhile though, Toussaint looking for a move on Epic. try and go round the outside into Parabolica. And we'll try and hold it round the outside, use the downforce of the Aston Martin to its advantage. Both of the Aston Martin will continue to go side by side. Does Play Dutchy come into the pits? And I think he will. And I think he's ran out of fuel. Play Dutchy ran out of fuel as he came into the pit. Meanwhile, the two leaders are going to going to go side by side down into turn 1. And I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this race. If you guys would like to let me know in the comments who you think could win this race, just please let me know, as it's going to be an absolutely great battle for the lead. But Dutchy's teammate follows him into the pits. Dutchy onto the super soft tyres, interestingly. Tiger also into the pits. So let's just have a quick see what tyres those guys go onto. Still looking at the battle for the lead. I think Tiger and Woody are both pitted for the soft tyres. But Epic and Toussaint, they might try and work together a little bit to try and extend the gap to Dutchy. They've got a fair bit more fuel than Dutchy had. Epic going down the inside into the first Lesmo. A really good race, a really good move from him, and moves himself up into the lead of the race. Dutchy though, just pitting on that lap. 25 seconds behind, so we'll have to keep an eye on the gap between Dutchy and Toussaint. Woody pitting and coming out ahead of Finn, so the overcut working well for the Irish driver. Got himself a 7/10 penalty though, and comes out ahead of the Ferrari driver. But Mr. Attengren in the chat, you have missed a lot, mate. 40 minutes of side-by-side racing between the top 7, to be honest. They've all been together at one point. We had a 5-way battle for the lead. Epic, Toussaint and Dutchy kind of pulled away from that fight. Woody and Finn have been battling for the last 10-15 minutes, and Tiger's also been closing in on that battle. He's currently 5 seconds behind after his incident, but Toussaint into the pits then. So Toussaint reacting to Play Dutchy, also having 6% of his fuel left. So we'll just have to keep a quick eye on where Toussaint comes out in respective to Dutchy. The gap 24 seconds to Toussaint. Woody though having to defend still from Finn. And all the drivers putting on a really good show. As here comes Toussaint out the pits. Dutchy going down the start finish straight now. This is going to be close between these two, and not as close as I thought. Dutchy though on the super soft tyres has come out. To be fair, he's come out only 8/10 behind the Aston Martin driver, and comes out in 3rd place. Meanwhile, Finn looking at the back of Woody, and we'll try and go for a move down the inside into turn 1. The amount of times I've said down the inside into turn 1, I think after this race, when this is uploaded to YouTube, I'm going to have to get a counter. And the amount of times I've said down the inside into turn 1, and I'll let you know how many times I've said it. If I remember for next week's race, then I'll make sure to let you know how many times I've said down the inside into turn 1, because honestly, it's been about a good 40 minutes worth of turn 1s, so probably 23 considering we are on lap 23. But meanwhile, this is going to be interesting. Dutchy had a 24-second gap to Toussaint and has come out 2/10 behind. Epic has a 23-second gap to Toussaint, so in theory will come out a second behind Play Dutchy, who's all over the back of Toussaint now. Two Aston Martin drivers battling for the net lead of the race. And Toussaint still defending from Dutchy. Dutchy unable to make a move just as of yet. But here comes the two leaders. Play Dutchy setting the fastest lap of the race. Where does Epic come out in all of this? He's going to come out ahead, but the Dutchy and Toussaint are going to be carrying so much more speed than the Aston Martin driver, and actually he's come out a second ahead of these guys. So maybe they lost a little bit of time battling as Dutchy though setting the fastest lap of the race. It was 300th quicker than Toussaint's time, but a fastest lap is a fastest lap at the end of the day. But yeah, the deltas have kind of sorted themselves out a little bit more, and Toussaint 4/10 behind Epic, setting a fastest first sector. Meanwhile, Finn and Woody are battling once again into turn 1 and 2. Into turn 3 now, Finn going down the inside. And gets himself up into 4th place. Woody though might try and look for it down the inside. There's a little bit of contact, but friendly nudges as Epic gets himself up down into 2nd place. 2-6 made the move into one of the Lesmos. Epic though will try it into Ascari. Will he try and be later on the brakes, but doesn't go for anything onto Saint just yet. The front 3 separated by 4 tenths, and I think we're in for a great race here with 15 minutes left to go. And the front 3 though still continue to battle. Keeping an eye on this battle here. Finn and Woody going side by side into Ascari, but Woody unable to hold it round the outside. Finn defending beautifully from the Irish driver. And both on the soft tyres. Dutchy though on the super softs, side by side with Epic, and this could be a 3 wide moment into turn 1. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. And you can see there, I think that's Daniel Gardenzi coming out of the pits. But it could be 3 wide going into turn 1, but Dutch decides to back out as Epic goes down the inside of Toussaint into turn 1 and gets himself up into the lead of the race. Has a little bit of traffic in front of him, but moves out the way nicely for these guys. It's not Daniel Gardenzi, sorry, is it Wolfie? It is Wolfie, so do apologise. Both running very similar liveries as they are teammates, so this makes sense. Meanwhile, Toussaint going round the outside of Epic into turn 3, but Epic keep maintaining the net lead of the race. Charles Leclerc saying this has been one of the best races he's ever seen on this game, and personally I think this has been the best race of the season to watch. Maybe a frustrating one for the drivers being stuck in this DRS train, not DRS, this slipstream train, but it's been an absolute great race, full of overtaking and not many collisions, a few incidents here and there. Tiger closing up on this battle for 4th place. Meanwhile, Toussaint's going to try it down the inside of Epic, but couldn't quite make anything into Ascari. And Woody now 3 tenths behind Finn has got a good run on the exit of the 2nd Lesmo. Will have the slipstream to his advantage. Can he do anything into Ascari? Pulls over to the inside. Epic getting past Played Dutchy. Woody though trying to go for a move down the inside and gets a move down the inside into Ascari. Meanwhile, Dutchy and Epic going side by side round Parabolica. Dutchy unable to make the move just yet, but will tuck in the slipstream behind. And Tiger's also gained in on this battle for 4th place and will try and go for a move down the inside of Finn into Parabolica. Couldn't quite make anything of it yet. Epic going down the inside of Toussaint into turn 1. And you can see there Dutchy still right behind these guys. Meanwhile, the slipstream train between these guys for 4th place. And Tiger in the slipstream of Finn. Finn looking for a move on Woody as Epic trying it round the outside of Toussaint into turn 4. Couldn't quite make anything of it. Tiger's made his way up into 5th place after getting past Woody, and will now have the likes of Finn to get past in the Ferrari. Aston Martin versus Ferrari. Not a combo you often see racing in real life racing, but we might see a bit in F1 next season as Tiger goes down the inside and promotes himself up into 4th place. He's got 23 seconds to try and close in and play Dutchy. Epic and Toussaint, who are all within 4 or 5 tenths of each other. And Toussaint though still leads this way. 12 minutes to go. Finn though is not going to give up this fight. Tiger on fresh tyres. Dutchy picking up a 2nd penalty. But meanwhile, we've got 2 3-way battles, and let me just quickly check if there are any other battles. I don't think there are any other major battles to get further down the grid, but we've got a 3-way battle for 4th, plus a 3-way battle for the lead, which is all this is what everybody wants to see. And that's Toussaint, so he still maintains the lead of the race. Play Dutchy unable to close in on Epic though. Epic trying to look for it down the inside of Toussaint. Will get the moves done initially, but I'm sure Toussaint will be fighting back in towards turn 3, 4 and 5. Finn now 4 tenths behind Tiger and 4 tenths ahead of Woody, and Woody seems to be closing in on a fast rate to Finn, and Finn on Tiger, but Finn actually, that Ferrari, pretty quick in a straight line, and not close enough to make a move into turn 1, but Toussaint and Epic going to go side by side into turn 2, into 3, 4 and 5. Toussaint had to cut the corner to avoid an incident, and has come down into 3rd place. Epic and Dutchy though both have penalties, 4 and 8 tenths respectively, but both still on the track without damage. Finn still behind Tiger and ahead of Woody in this race. Meanwhile, Toussaint's dropped off a little bit from Dutchy and Epic, but I'm sure we'll close down the gap quite rapidly on the straight, as Dutchy is all over the back of that Aston Martin. He's in an Aston Martin sandwich. He's got some blue flags up in front. Hopefully they get out of the way nicely for him, as Dutchy serving a little bit of his penalty. Math gamer though, not great from him, sat on the racing line, and blue flags becoming a little bit of an issue here for Epic in front. That will have held him up a little bit. Toussaint now going side by side with the lapped car, and actually Math gamer might give a really good onboard of this battle for the lead, and so will Toussaint, to be fair. Toussaint going to try and go down the inside of Play Dutchy into turn 1. You can see on the rear of Epic's Aston Martin, Toussaint making the move stick, promoting himself up into 2nd place. Dutchy still has a 5 tenth penalty, sorry. And you can see just how much the slipstream is helping Toussaint and Tiger, Dutchy, sorry, keep up in this race. And you can see there Daniel Gardenzi getting out of the way nicely for the front 3. Dutchy dropping off a little bit from those guys, and Epic though still with a less than a 10th of a second penalty, as Finn's getting past Tiger up into 4th place, and yes, in the Ferrari, getting past that Aston, and moves as well up into 4th place. But the battle's not going to be over yet. Tiger's going to try and hold it round the outside, and it will be the inside for turn 4, late on the brakes, and gets the move done up into 4th place. Meanwhile though, Toussaint's going to be battling once again with Epic down into Ascari. They're going to go side by side, and a little bit of ghosting because of the penalties. Epic's able to get himself through up into the lead. And let me know in the comments, in the chat, who you think will win this race. I still have no idea personally, as these guys have been battling since lap 1. Toussaint down the inside into Parabolica, and we'll try and hold it around the outside. Epic on the outside, and they're going to go side by side down the start finish straight. Dutchy is going to make it 3 wide into turn 1. The leaders separated by less than a hundredth, sorry, and they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. This is what we've all been waiting for. Toussaint on the inside, Dutchy on the outside. Who's going to be the late breaker? All of them committed. They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Unbelievable scenes as Epic gets into the lead of the race. Toussaint in 2nd, Dutchy in 3rd. Tiger still having to defend from Finn, and Woody is going on in this battle. Woody in 6th place, but meanwhile the lead is going side by side into turn 1. 3 wide into 1, into unbelievable. Dutchy going a little bit too deep into turn 4 and 5. It's cost him a few tenths, but wow, wow. What great racing, as Epic goes a little bit wide. Toussaint might try and capitalise into the second race mode, but couldn't quite make anything of it just yet. And Tiger is still having to defend from Finn and Woody, but my god, we've been in for an absolute treat this race. And just wow, unreal, unbelievable. 3 wide into turn 1. Toussaint's got a really good run on Epic through Ascari, and through turn 10 in the run down towards turn 11, reaching 163 miles per hour, goes round the outside of Epic into turn 1, promote himself up into the lead of the race. And Piero, I hope you've been watching this from the start, because these three have been battling all from lap 1. Meanwhile, this battle, which has been happening since pretty much lap 1 as well, Tiger, Finn and Woody have been battling for 4th place. Finn in the slipstream, and I don't think I've got my camera off these top 6 because they've been battling so much. Toussaint going round the outside of Epic into turn 1, sorry, down the inside into turn 1, round the outside of turn 2, didn't quite work, and has dropped himself down into 3rd place. Play Dutchie capitalising on that, moves his way up into 2nd place with a 7/10 penalty. And I have absolutely no idea who a driver of the day would go to. It'd have to be the top 3 for me personally. Play Dutchie though's got front damage, as you can see there, Finn and Tiger going side by side into turn 1, but the leaders almost going side by side. Finn and Woody now battling on the exit of turn 2 in the run down to turn 3 and 4. Finn will be tucked in behind Tiger once again. Tiger defending beautifully from the Ferrari, and Finn was once leading this race, and the front 6 actually were all within about 2 seconds of each other at one stage in this race, but meanwhile no major overtakes from those guys yet. No battles come the rest of the pack. Epic though still leads this race. Dutchie serving 5/10 of his penalty, and Tiger's been able to pull out a 9/10 gap to Finn. All of these guys on the soft tyres, their fuel should make it to the end with 5 laps, and Tiger has pulled out a 2nd lead over those guys, which would be great for him. He's gonna pull his way out of the slipstream train, which is almost what you could say the front 3 are stuck in, but they've been showing remarkable pace. Dutchie second the fastest lap of 1:46.7 on lap 23 of this race, and Toussaint now will have the run on Play Dutchie. Dutchie though will have Epic slipstream. Toussaint looking for a move down the inside. We're getting on board of Toussaint, as you can see Epic a little bit earlier on the brakes than these guys. Toussaint down the inside of Play Dutchie, and if you thought that was tight with those two going side by side into turn 2, Toussaint getting the move, they went 3 wide at one point and Finn into the pits. And I don't think Finn's fuel was going to make it to the end of the race, so he's coming to the pits, and I'm assuming this would be for super soft tyres and for more fuel. The gap between Tiger and Woody's extended to 9/10, so that battle might have died down a little bit, but we've still got an insane battle for the lead. 4 minutes to go, and only a few laps remain in this race. The front 3 separated by 5/10 like they have been for the majority of this race, and it's anyone's race to win here in Monza, the northeast of Milan, I think this track's in. And this is definitely, yeah, I totally agree, Connor. I don't know why I didn't see that message before, but this is any of the top 3's race, both for driver of the day and the race win, as Dutchie picking up a 2nd penalty for track extending, and the Ascari. Toussaint running's a little bit wide on exit, will pull over to the right hand side and try and go down the inside of the Aston Martin driver into the final corner. Epic running a little bit wide, really wide actually, has allowed Dutchie to go through, and Epic drifting on the AstroTurf of Parabolica drops himself down to 3rd place and almost a 2nd behind Dutchie, which is not what he wants, but good news for him that Dutchie has an 8/10 penalty which he has to serve in the remaining 3 minutes of this race, with the front bumper damage as well. And Dutchie might find himself braking a little bit earlier into some of the corners to try and serve that penalty. But meanwhile, just checking up the gap on Woody and Tiger. Still, I was going to say still really close, but Tiger's actually into the pits and might try and go for the fastest lap of the race here. If Finn can't do anything about it, Tiger might try and get it, but it's going to be a struggle. Obviously Dutchie had the slipstream on his lap, as these guys have been nose to tail for pretty much the majority of the race. Tiger comes out 10 seconds clear of Finn. I think Finn didn't have a penalty, so Tiger will try and go for fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Epic's closed in on the back of Dutchie. Dutchie making a little bit of a mistake into the first Lesmo, with his damages not helping him. Epic got a really good run there, closing in on the Toyota, the current championship leader, and we'll try and go for a move on the outside of Ascari. Not close enough to make a move yet. Dutchy serving a penalty. Epic getting a little bit out of shape, and off goes Dutchy, and we'll have to get a replay of that from his onboard. Was there contact? I don't know if there was contact or a mistake from the Dutchman. Well, that's dropped him 2.9 seconds behind Epic, and now the battle for the lead is a horse race between Toussaint and Epic. Two Aston Martins, two British drivers here, and what's absolutely great is three different teams all battling for the lead of this race. Toussaint trying to break the slipstream, weaving down the straight, all allowed, and just got to quickly check any battles towards the back of the grid. I'm not too sure. Woody though up into 4th place. Tiger's going to try and go for fastest lap on this lap, and like Connor has rightly pointed out in the chat, this will be the last lap of the race. Tiger's going to try and go for the fastest lap on his he didn't pit for fresh tyres, but meanwhile on the last lap Toussaint will have to do some mega defending, setting the fastest first sector. Epic will try and go down the inside, cutting the corner to get through. That might be a penalty for him. We're not going to know just yet, and I don't think the game's going to give him a penalty. Barging his way down the inside into the first Lesmo, but I'm not sure how clean that first overtake was. Cutting the corner of turn 5 to get himself past Toussaint. Meanwhile though, he's Toussaint 5 tenths behind Epic, and this will be the last lap of the race. And neither of the top two have won a GT Sport race here in Gavra Racing. With 1 second left on the timer, the time is up. This will be the last lap, 1 corner to go. Can Toussaint say anything about this? His first win, both of these drivers' first wins rely on the final corner. Epic defense, but Toussaint's going to try and go down the inside. Final corner, final lap. A little bit too late, but Epic's going to try and go side by side. These two are going to go side by side across the line, but it's going to be Epic who comes across the line and wins his first race. Toussaint a 10th behind. Dutchy, after making a mistake in Parabot, Ascari comes across the line in 3rd. Woody, an outstanding race from him, comes across the line in 4th, but will come across the line in 4th place. That's if he doesn't spin like he tends to do on the last laps of these races. Scouting Ninja will also come across the line in 10th place, and a Tiger Assassin, will he get the fastest lap of the race? Doesn't quite get it there. And Finn will come across the line in 6th place. Berkey the Viper will come in 7th place. And what an absolutely outstanding race here at Monza. And there's actually going to be Daniel Gardenzi to come across the line in his first GT Sport race of the season in 12th place. It's not been a bad race from him, his first race, still learning the tyre wear, the fuel consumption and everything, but overall a really good race from him. And Ted and Furky, the two drivers left across the line. Furky comes across the line in 7th, and Ted will come across the line in 8th place. But after a monumental battle, Epic wins the race by 0.08 of a second, and for the 3rd time this season we'll see a new car and a new driver on the top step of the podium to win his first GT Sport race. Toussaint so close but yet so far in 2nd, sorry, Play Dutchy rounding off the podium. But that has been I don't even know what words can sum up this race. It's been an absolutely great race here in Monza. We'll certainly be trying to make it a good look good. Not look good, what am I trying to say? Certainly be hoping that it's on the calendar for next season, and you'll find out after Christmas when I think the next season will start up. But that has been an absolutely great race here at Monza. And you can see people in the chat saying they've had fun. I've had fun in the commentary box speaking for 60 minutes. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Cryptech for abandoning me for the first time this season. But I hope to see you in the commentary box once again next week. And make sure to join us next week same time, same place, where we will be at Autopolis for a new race, and hopefully it will be an absolutely great race. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and it's goodbye from me, X90G, signing off. Goodbye.